2021. Seems like the year is kind of flying-ish. But you're tuned into Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Animwaa Anim-Addo, and this is Strong and Sassy. And we'll be doing this until 8 o'clock, so don't go anywhere. No. Don't move away from your radio or your phone. We're also truly grateful to Roberts and Sons for bringing us strong. That you give your eyes the best attention and care that they deserve this year, because your eyes are the most important sense organ and account for about 80% and continue to offer a comprehensive eye care service. And a lot of the things that they do, eye care services, visual field testing, corporate eye care services, and so much more. Visit Roberts and Sons Opticals in Adabraka, there's Kumasi. For more information, please call 0302-222-601 or 05015. And Twitter is Roberts and Sons Limited. Roberts and Sons Optical Services, seeing is believing. And right then, well, let's get straight into it. And I have two amazing women. Zoom is not live telecast like you guys look like you're ready for TV. She's a real estate agent. And for the first time on Strong and Sassy, Judith Korte, who is a banker. And
thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Oh, well, the pleasure is all ours. The pleasure is all ours.
Hello, Rashida.
So, for the property sharing, asset sharing, and so the question has sort of come up, in relationships and in marriage, is it a good idea to own sharing from the beginning of the relationship? So, who buys the house, who buys the cars, who buys the microwave, who buys the fridge? Thing is fine. A microwave is just a microwave. But when you're walking out of that house, you want to carry your microwave with you because you're like, look, I bought this. It belongs to put into the relationship. So, so these things can get a little bit tricky. So let me come to relationships.
Well, my views on it. Being someone who has been in sort of a marriage that has come to an end, I have sort of a different perspective than to be honest with you, when I was leaving my marriage, I took everything, including everything I bought, including should sort of be everyone just brings their stuff. What did you bring into the relationship? When it's time for you to leave, I don't buy kitchen items. I have no business with kitchen items. My job, my responsibility is to buy the TVs like that. So he was like, oh, none of this is my business. I was like, okay. So at that time you buy them, etc. But then when it's time, and so obviously there's what the courts are going to decide, etc., etc. But I'm just not somebody who's interested in those kinds of processed spoons and everything. You would not even get a single fork to eat because that is my stuff, and I'm taking it away. And I'm not touching any of it, where everyone is working, everyone is contributing. One person is not sort of the stay-at-home partner. Their input in a domestic setting, then that is obviously that is how come when people get divorced, property or cash.
Right. Okay. Well,
my opinion is this, that nobody goes into a relationship, and we have moved away from the Christian perspective where you have to be married, any different kinds of relationships. So people will get married, people will move in together. Things are very different from, in my parents' day or even in my day when I started life. About taking out what you took in is all property, such as houses, homes, and these days also people have homes in bring those out of the marriage. I think that the best thing is to commit these things formally, so that when they are to separate or distribute what has become joint the evening.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Probably getting to the end of the show. Hi. Oh, I like your background. Very fancy.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Things. But so do you want to just jump straight into giving us your overview of, property, or should we just, be individual in our approach to?
I actually have nothing against you do. Then everything should be well documented and legally binding and on paper. I think they're not documented when they've not been firmly legalized. It is almost side to, and I think I mean, I'm quite open about this. I don't think it is you to buy either movable property or immovable property with or without your partner. They should bring up. My parents had a joint bank account, where everything was put together. But because that was the expectation, it can get a little bit like that in terms of property. And I'm more open about that. I think the individuals who are make sure that whatever you have, your name is on. And I'm very particular about it because it was, when divorce came, if my mother's name was not on the house,
Families, kind of just jump into it and they just want to take everything. I've seen it so many times. So I mean, I definitely agree. What about the little stuff? So Rashida and Judith, just what about the little stuff? So we know that, okay, if we're getting a mortgage together or buying property together, we've agreed on, how much it should be shared and stuff. But there's also the TV, the little things that make a house a home, and which we are very emotionally attached to these things that are material. Or are you going to be to the letter with those things as well?
Listen, I think that it depends on how then I'm hoping that it would be easy to, maybe there are certain things which are of sentimental value to each party. So, and your ex will say, why not? You can have it.
But most of the time, he won't go ahead to the other person.
They end in a very malicious way most of the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, is someone talking? So, most of the time, you never think that the person I've lived with for years is going to become very hostile to me the moment I say I no longer want to be the school fees of those kids, okay? And so, like you said, it depends on how the relationship ended. I know relationships where people have just accommodation, etc. That is when you are mostly talking about people who are not sort of on the same wavelength, but people who economically are sort of ability. And but then a lot of the time in marriage, there's a lot of inequality in that the wives are usually younger than the husbands, and that is usually what is the norm. You hardly find unions where socially, etc., have the same kind of social capital. So usually you have the woman at a disadvantage and you have, the man having it together. But have you ever noticed how people react when a prenup, for example, is mentioned? When agreements, but I have bought this house with both of our money and it's in my name, but I say it's for the both of us. So you don't trust me, so you have big loans, etc. It's the day the husband dies that we realize. And also when we are talking about these things, I think we usually talk about it in that the things brings home 100,000 CD debt and they come and then they are probably, the property, you have bought property together, responsible debts. So it's about trust, the kind of partner you are married to. We marry all sorts of people, you could be in love with someone, but you know that this person is not clear. This person, if things get hard enough, this person might be able to do a bad thing. Now, if you're dealing with someone like that, even though we all never intend for something to start and then end. No, but just in case, everyone should probably acquire their property. And there are different ways of sort of giving property to each other. I can say I have five cars. Jemima, you are my wife.
Yeah, if that unpleasant thing happens and that car you gave to him, you turn around now and say, give me my car. After all, I bought it. Then we are back to all that we are talking about used to happen a lot in our parents' lives. Okay, now life has changed.
Not that much. Not that.
Advise our younger sisters and those up and coming about certain strategies which they could adopt. It will make life much easier. The other thing also is that we are assuming that every woman, by age, by earning, or by before.
The whole point of The whole point I
Right?
made was basically that, if they are at par, they're financially inferior to their husbands. Nobody has made that assumption.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
that's not what I
Rashida.
said. I
I
said
mean, that's not an assumption I can also echo, but I know very few marriages where that is still the case.
okay.
Okay, so Judith, please make your point.
So what I said was thinking should be different. And if it's not, then part of our discussion this evening is to bring more rights, and I am also able to bring enough to the table so that I can have a say in what we own, how we own it.
So one, from the conversation so far, it sounds like there's a certain sort of, let's put one. Two, are we not subconsciously saying that we will, this is mine, or this is how this will be shared, or how this will be shared, as opposed to going in with the mentality that I'm going to do everything that I can, but just, life gets tough and monogamy is difficult and all of that. But are you not then going into the tenacity with which you fight for the relationship when you have
Not one bit. Sorry
Okay.
to cut you. Not one bit. Social media, and I know I'm free to share. When my husband proposed to me, I sat him down, all of that, and as I said, I've shared this, and I know whatever we buy, whatever we own, yeah, there's things that we jointly own, there's things that, he was put love aside. You're not putting any love aside. You're actually, it is not. It is understanding that life has its twists and turns. It's got it never happens, but there's times there's people where their wives or husbands or honest conversations where you say, look, okay, how much are you do you doing it? There was all these jobs. I was like, oh, okay. I told my husband, let me kill you so I get rich. But honestly, have these kinds of conversations because you don't know what is going to happen. You don't know. You're not putting any. I advise any single individual when you're going into a marriage or any relationship, you have to understand the terms of your relationship. And if you want to understand,
but when we come back in about a minute or so, I want us to talk about joint accounts, because they're placed on that. When we come back, we'll have that conversation. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, Charlie, close the window small. Your room be too bright.
But I beg go Robert and Sons. Oh yeah, then my chick to him, I know correct. Cry. Where Robert and Sons sort them out sharp. Now so stylish frames in the wrong.
We go Robert and Sons right there. No, I was sitting inside proper.
For over 25 years, Robert & Sons continues to provide specialist eye care for both adults and children. Locate us at Adabraka, Adenta, Kumasi, Osudankwa, Tema, Weja, and East Legon. Call 050-151-9111. Robert & Sons, seeing is believing.
Hey! Sir?
Wow.
Why is everyone speechless? Because DSTV is offering you the same mind-blowing entertainment at a fraction of the price.
Huh?
For a limited time only, get an HD decoder, dish and installation, plus 1 month of DSTV access, cut down from 229 Ghana cedis to just 199 Ghana cedis. That's ridiculous. Before it's too late, get the best for even less with DSTV. SMS 1731. This is your moment.
I got the eye of the tiger, fire, dancing through the fire, 'cause I am a
Into Joy 99.7 FM, and a very good evening to our friends at Robert & Sons Optical Services. Robert & Sons sponsors Strong and Sassy. And also, and for a limited period, DSTV will give you all the entertainment you and your family need. Also, from now, no extra cost. So if you have access, you pay for family, and DSTV will give you compact at no extra. 02740 540. Oh, Dila, she's into real estate. Let me put it that way. Yeah. I have Judith Courts, Dr. Chimama Nunu, who needs no introduction, joining us tonight. So thank you guys once again in a relationship. And when I say things, I mean property, cars, the microwave, the generator, the forks, the spoons, everything. And before we went to the break, I was talking about the fact that we should talk about joint accounts. So, What's your take on joint?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So joint accounts again, like I said, way that's probably stemming from some sort of mental laziness, but it's really, I just feel like when things are, we're both earning, we could have a common household account where at the end of the month we agree, okay, because you are earning higher, probably about 50% of your salary. Because I earn less, I will probably put 70% in there. This is all obviously subject to the couple we are talking about, where I know what you earn at the end of every month. You know what I earn at the end of every month. You know what my other side jobs bring me. Yes, I think it makes more sense for people to have their individual selves. I don't think once you're in a partnership, then all of a sudden you have to become this melting pot, sort of seeing the end of relationships before they have started. No, this is just me being very pragmatic. People wake up tomorrow and they no longer love the person they used to love. People wake up tomorrow and they no longer have a job. All of the money is going to be coming from one person. But you don't want a situation whereby people are each other's noses, charge for this. What did you buy? I mean, obviously, whatever works for each couple. But I just think that we can be very open up about ourselves. Human beings tend to have this thing where we feel like what everybody else needs is not as important as sort of what everybody needs. Yes, is not as important as what we need. So we have this thing where you will have one partner being like, do you really need to buy that hair? Do you really need new clothes for work? I know that these days there are tears and wears in some of my clothes these days that do not look good on me as a professional. That is sometimes very hard to explain to partners. And we always sort of feel like relationships are this utopia is present in two people of any kind coming together. And also we always assume that every one of us is married to a reasonable person. Every one of us is in a partnership with a reasonable person. There are partners that is a bit difficult to talk to them, to make them understand things. You can buy it because you can afford it. If you want to, do something for your friend, you don't have to ask your husband, please, I need to buy a birthday cake for my friend, or I need.
Right. Okay, so I'm coming to Judith, but before I come to Judith, Rashida, how is Asimesi and how is your house so quiet? Okay.
Buy myself another 30
All
minutes,
right.
just bake. We've done well for the first 30 minutes. Let's keep it like that.
Well, give the kids our love and tell them we're grateful for them staying away.
Okay, so when I first got married, I was really young. And my brother and his wife had a joint account for everything.
Okay.
And they planned everything very well. It was in the bank in the Halifax, and I had to have a staff account. So I opened. What happened was sometimes I have a certain balance in my mind of, what is on the account. And my dear husband would go and buy something, and then I would buy. And I'm not saying that he was a careless spender. It's just that we didn't synchronize our spending. I had to quickly find a way to deal with that kind of situation. Our separate accounts. So at the end of the month, just as Rashida said, we would put together and put the money and buy it, okay? But that is an ideal situation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So I am not one who is hard and follow it to the letter. The other thing I also think about is a while back, be in joint names, and then the husband would go, and it was all maybe want to mortgage the property further, take out a further advance for their business.
I mean, but the law has changed that, even here in Ghana, and more recently, the
law had to step in and stipulate that if there was going to be any borrowing against, and sign a document to say that she understood exactly what
was happening,
was concerning bank accounts, concerning property that they own with mortgages or without mortgages. So for me, I think that joint and several liability means that you both are responsible for debts. You both are allowed, this is what we are doing with this particular account. That particular account is yours. You don't sign with me. You take decisions back. And women or partners, let me not say it's just women, but partners should keep their eye in your relationship.
Stay woke.
All right. Something. sorry, where both partners actually earn something out of the home and then bring it to this account, this household account where they're outside of the home, which means she doesn't bring any physical cash to the household, and it'll be there, which the woman controls, which a certain amount, a certain percentage of the man's. So when his salary is brought, that is why some men tell you, "Oh, I'll give you a salary." No, I mean you should know what his salary is, to be able to spend on yourself as well, because you are doing half his job. So it's not free, it's not a favor. You're doing half his job, so he's paying you half his income.
This Inka said, because a lot of these narratives are really just challenging the very typical Ghanaian relationship and Ghanaian marriage. And maybe for some of us women, these ideas are not new, but also to and I mean, and those conversations, for example, with men who are just very, still living in the 1800s.
I think even our whole approach to relationships sometimes I think is problematic.
Okay.
When I was entering a marriage, it never occurred to me to have one.
Right.
Even though my parents are transparent with what we earn, with how we spend it, there's actually part of relationship. I love being married, but I'm also a person that is very in marriage.
Yes.
So
I agree.
I think that you both do a lot of things together. You're still two individuals. And I don't think you should lose sight of that. So when I was getting into marriage, I told my husband exactly what I earned. We both know each other's bank account. Even I have his, his card, his passwords.
Yeah,
he also has mine.
Yeah.
But I think if you sit down that didn't have this kind of outlook in life, because I would not subject myself to that.
What if? So I think that you're probably coming at it from a position where neither of you needs the basics: food, clothing, and shelter may not be an issue, right?
Yeah.
But what about a young couple who have just started out and all those things: food, clothing, shelter?
Married anyway.
But how does that change? You still need to have these conversations. I mean, I understand you're right. Of course, these when these things are a daily battle, that's where you even need to be more transparent, because a young new couple, maybe we've just recently got jobs and our salaries are not all that much. Even more so, you need talking. It's it's not going to be as devastating as well. A doctor, you're educated. Yeah. I take a lot of hints from my grandmother. My grandmother is somebody who I really look up to, would not tolerate nonsense.
So my mom, nonsense? Please define nonsense. What is nonsense?
If you're a man who cooks and she handles it with her left hand too much, he won't eat. How long religion she changed to be a Jehovah's Witness? He said his wife could not be like that. She moved on. That we still have women, not just our age mates, from generation fed with all those, why can't you be like our grandmothers that used to tolerate this? I think that doesn't hold. It's still something. And our grandmothers, actually, some of them were far more liberal and forward-thinking type of woman that works to sit down and discuss with their partners to be. Then I think we're being rather background, and we need to encourage it to be the norm.
Okay,
yes?
So I need to go for a really quick commercial break.
Hey! Sir?
Wow.
Why is everyone speechless? Because DSTV is offering you the same mind-blowing entertainment at a fraction of the price.
Huh?
For a limited time only, get an HD decoder, dish and installation, plus 1 month of DSTV access, cut down from 229 Ghana cedis to just 199 Ghana cedis. That's ridiculous. Before it's too late, get the best for even less with DSTV. SMS 1731. This is your moment.
You held me down, but I got up.
Okay, we're back. So we can dive straight back into the conversation. But let me open the phone lines as well. We have about 6 minutes. So I'd like to hear what you think if you've been listening to us. It's 0302-216-541, 0302 alone. So let me come to you ladies. Rashida, Jemima, and Judith. Do you want to kind of just start wrapping up on your
Shall I
You
go
go?
or Rashida?
Who's going first?
Yeah, Judith,
Okay.
go ahead.
I want to say that my preferred, I want to put is that every couple should work towards financial unity or union, okay? But, i.e., divorce, death, separation, or care. So,
Okay. Shida, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So I obviously I have a completely different view. Unions, everybody loves to see a nice man. Two nice people together. It's nice, okay. But also always come back to what if it doesn't work out? What if we have misunderstandings? What if one of us is not around? What if you can be in a partnership and still be yourself as a person, be a singular person, individual type person. I think that before sudden I get married and then it's like something has to change. Absolutely nothing has to change. If the man is selling his shoes and I'm selling my houses, the man sells his shoes, I sell my houses. Now we have a home to look after. So here is a big thing that we don't, I think in our local context, the man always sort of hunts for a woman. The man determines where there's a lot of inequality. Again, like you said, Ghana is not just Accra. So the fact that we are here and can say, you know what, there are women who just cannot discuss some of the things we are here discussing with their partners. That is how bad it is for some. So I think that like I'm not going to leave my job. So don't even talk about it. So this is the amount I bring. This is the amount you bring. How do you think we are going to be able to have a nice quality of life?
Vamoose is basically. Jemima, in 20 seconds, because it's literally 8 o'clock.
Okay. I'd say that for me, it's about joint account, whether it's in separate accounts, but the trust is built and you're open up about your finances. I think.
Tay, Rashida Adams, thank you guys so much for sharing your evening with us. As always, we're so grateful for your time. This has been Strong and Sassy. We'll be back and let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like us to talk about. But most importantly, have a fantastic evening. Maxwell Adbad